So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to put the Balden arm joints on your most of the time old seed high grade kits are kits that have like single articulation. So this will depend on the type of joint that you have, because not all joints are like the seed ones where it's going to be relatively easy to replace, but there are some that are going to be harder and some that don't really need it, to be honest. But the Jin high mobility type, it does need it. It does wield a sword. So yeah, I think adding better better elbow joints will be quite more beneficial. I think I'm just gonna like freestyle this video because I'm not in the mood to like record and like what was it? Like, do a script. But yeah. That's the old joint compared to the new one, and I'm gonna teach you how to do it. So yeah, as said, you will need the Balden arm set, which is being reissued at the time of this video. And there's also a lot of seed kits. So since the new seed kits are releasing and old ones too are being reissued, you could possibly practice here. So yeah, good luck, and hopefully the video will be helpful for you. So this is how I did it. So this is how it looks like. I will explain to you almost in detail and relatively easy to watch cuts of the video. But yeah, first off, you really need the Balden arm set for this thing. At the very least the joints. And secondary, this is it. So the next is you will also need a bit of plot plate too. Like 0.5 will do enough. But yeah, first off, I am going to cut off this top part. There is a groove there, so there's a guide, but you also need to take off some plastic below because you're going to shorten this area right here. And there you go. I glued it on, and I just used extra cement. Yeah. And secondary, you're gonna take off the poly cap, and then all the parts that I pointed there, like the pegs and joints and everything. And then we're going to cut off the big long peg here. So we cut that off, and then we're just gonna dismantle this part. And take note, once we do assemble this, you're going to have to remove the sealant on the shoulder, which is it's fine. You can just mask it off really. And then after that, you are going to open up this part, and remember the part that we cut open. We're just gonna make a big hole there, like big holes that we will fill up, because I'm going to show you something that I'm gonna wait for the video to show here. But yeah, there's a lot of excess plastic there, so you have to take it off, carve it. And yeah, be careful with your knife. You really need to have like delicate precision here. Well, more like just know how to handle knife. If you're customizing up, I think you already know how to properly handle this. Just be sure to watch the video if you want to see how I do it specifically. So yeah, I hollowed this part out. We're gonna turn this into the joint that we usually see on modern high grade kits, like the universal joint. So after that, I'm just gonna fill in the seam line here, and then since there's a giant hole in the middle, you're just gonna fill that up with, like, you can use runners really. There's runners that are thicker than others and others that are thinner. So yeah, as you can see, there's the hole there. And now I added some part of runner there, and I used a point-free drill bit. You can also use there's a lot of power tools there, like cheap power tools really, or a pin vise, or a really small drill. I mean, good luck. You also need that tool. Sorry about that. You really do need to bore holes here. And then afterwards, you're just going to test out some parts. So as you can see, this is the other arm where I use the lower part of the shoulder that houses like the shoulder bit there. Yeah. Next, we're going to try and like carve this part out too. Like, we're going to accommodate this part to slip in to the upper shoulder part of the elbow that we did earlier. Then we reduce the size. So if it doesn't fit, you just keep reshaping. Also remember, you can always carve off more, but don't cover up too much. You'd rather have to work and like fit it properly. So next time we're gonna properly put the lower arm. Now take note, you will need plot plate here, or any filler that's 0.5. Not really filler, but a gap really, like a spacer. This will be permanent here, so yeah, once again, this is gonna be either hidden or will be painted with masking. So yeah, you do have to be used to masking if you want to do this method that I'm doing here. So then afterwards, I'm just making sure that the parts are sticking to where they should stick, and yeah, I followed there is a line in the middle between the two round joints there, so I just aligned it and so it's symmetrical to it. So it's symmetrical really. And then afterwards, we're just gonna apply a little bit of super glue on the contact points between the forearm and the lower elbow joint. Make sure you don't put any glue in the joint area, of course. And then afterwards, you just put in the other side and you fill in the seam line. Yes, you really do have to like fill in seam line here, and due to that, the joint will be in there, so you do have to do some masking. Though if you're customizing, I think you're accustomed to that already. And there we go. That's how I accommodated the joint. This is really just a guide on what you can do. This method won't apply to many of the other kits, but most kits I think are built like this. So majority of them you can actually do this. Once again, I am going to preface that this method will probably work on the almost same type of old school joint that's being used here. Because anything else, you just use this as a guideline for what you want to do. You don't really want to slap the Balden arm joint there because it's out of proportion if you don't modify it, which that's pretty much their purpose. The joint is the best part over there. You just have to do some minor adjustments. And yeah, that's really about it. I hope you do subscribe, and there is a Patreon there, so yeah, thanks for watching.